Right, Dan's done the front brakes. This is our Project Range Rover Sport. The rear brake was binding, so that means it was sticking on. Now, if you've got a rear brake sticking on one of these Range Rover Sports or Discovery 3, 4, it's always pretty much going to be one thing. It won't be the caliper seizing, it will be the slider mechanism. Actually, I'm going to have to go around that side because of the light down. So what Dan's done is this is going to be a quicker video than normal because Dan's actually taken this all apart and worked it out. So what we're doing in this video, problem binding brakes, and it's the caliper sliders that have got seized and stuck. And this is a common fault with this sort of rubbish design where you've got one piston that pushes and then this comes out and then it reacts against the slider, and it's all... But it's not actually that hard to do. You don't need to bleed the brakes, you don't need to take the discs off. It's like 4 bolts, isn't it, to get it off, yeah. A cable tie to hang it up, and it's pretty good. Yeah, our discs aren't great, our pads aren't great, but don't worry about that. We'll just get it through the MOT, then we'll do a full brake upgrade on it. So don't worry about that. Right, okay. Right, and Dan, spin away. We need some socket sizes and some explanation.
So these are the sliders where the caliper bolts into. They're 13. They're loose.
Yeah, they're loose. So everything we put together is loose. So you can quite easily get a 13mm socket in there. Okay, and then the other ones at the bottom. Down there. So you'll see the little rubber bellows. So you've got these little rubbery bellows here. So it's the bolt behind the rubbery bellows. There you go. And you'll see there that just give that caliper a wiggle so we can see the bit that's... So that's the caliper there, right? Okay. I'm going to bring the light this way just a little down. That's it. Right.
Screwdriver.
Yeah, right in the back, Dan. Right in. You want to come right in this face here.
See from there.
Yeah, that's it, right in there, and then just push that, which pushes the piston out. That's it, which will make it easier to then to lift that off there. Yep, okay. And then we're going to cable tie that up. So Dan's got his cable tie. He's got one already up on there. Just get that up out the way. It's not good to leave them hanging on their cables. Oh, you needed the. Yep. There you go. Cable tie that. Oh, and there's a little bolt up there, or a little corner, isn't there? There we go, let that stay out the way. Right, that's all out the way. And then you've got the slider assembly with your pads on. Now, I guess you could plop the pads out there, couldn't you, if you want? Might as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Let's pull out.
And then they got 2 little spring clips you'll see in a minute. That's the little backing thing. Use the screwdriver if you have to. Careful because it's the pads, and we're going to reuse those, but you only need a little touch to get them out, don't they? Alright, so there's the pads out. Okay, right. And then you've got the little spring clips that hold them in. You can leave them out or leave them in, it doesn't matter. Right, and then the next thing is the 2 bolts you need to get. So if I get the light in so there's 2 12-sided sockets at the back there.
There's 16mm.
I can come up with a lie underneath down. Hold on a minute. People are complaining. Oh, here we go. Look, we've got a much better view under here. Oh. Yeah, so that one. Yeah. Oh yeah, but it's got an epic view under here, right? Yeah, so do you want to... And what size were they? Sorry, Dan, you did just say?
16mm.
16mm. But you need a 12-sided socket on that. And just give us a little wave of the bolt when you get them out there. And so let's have a look at the thread as well. There we go. Yeah, we got that. Get that top one out. There's quite a lot of room to work on these cars. They're not too bad, are they?
Yeah, they've got big wheels on them, haven't they?
Yeah. We got an axle stand under the front, under the side, if anyone's worried. You should always work with jack and axle stand for safety. Right, there we go. So that's got that out. Right, let's go and have a look at that down on the bench now. Right, we've got it all in the vise. And what you're supposed to have is these little bellowy bits you see the bolt in there is supposed to move. Now, one thing we didn't mention is that when you're undoing those first bolts, those 13mm bolts, if the whole lot is spinning, you will have to put a span around that. But if they're seized, they're unlikely to be spinning. So when Dan took these out, this first one, you could not get that out. So you had to put a socket on there, didn't you, and work it and get some WD-40 and really try and get that loose. But once you've got them out with a bit of pulling, now in the replacement kit, you get the pins and you get the bellows as well. Yeah. Which is key. Yeah, you got the little bellows that are all.
And you also get some grease.
And you also get some red grease. Red grease is rubber grease. If you use a grease round a rubber, I think some greases degrade the rubber. Okay. So the red grease is rubber grease. Right. So you can pull these out. So what Dan's going to do is go on, Dan. Wait, no. So yeah. So basically, you've just literally got a pin that just goes into a hole there.
Yeah, and they're bent and scored.
Yeah, we had one that was bent on that front caliper, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wait, easy now. Right. So now you could, if you were. Once you got them out, you've probably got it cleaned. I guess you could clean it. What would you stick up there, like a biro or something? Then
I'll squirt some WD up it and then use the air duster.
Okay.
Spray it all back out.
Spray it all. Good. Right, and then you get your new one then. So I guess you put that red grease on, cut the corner of that red grease.
I use copper grease.
I was going to say, I think copper grease is fairly... Yeah. Someone's going to tell us it degrades the thing, but don't get too much near the rubber. It'll be fine, won't it? Work him on. Pop him in. Because once we get this back on, we're up to retest, aren't we?
Yep.
You got to just get that lip over there, haven't you? Yeah. That's it.
There we go.
There we go. Right. And then he'll move backwards and forwards, and that'll stop that caliper sneezing. It's got seizing. Right. We'll get that back together. Then you just put that on. Notice the way the springs go around. Put the shoes back in, and you're all good. But that will be your problem 99% of the time if you're failing your test for seizing calipers. Now these are not expensive, are they? You can buy them as a kit. We've got them on the website, I think. I'm not sure if we sell them individually, but they're relatively inexpensive. I think they're £10 or £15 for the pair. So they're not dear, and then you're all good to go. So there we go. Good luck with that. And hopefully next time we see you, we'll be at the MOT station seeing if we're all good.